Hey guys, what's up? I'm Greg. I hope you guys are ready to unpack and get into some good conversations today.
And I'm Jess, and this is our podcast, Baggage Claim. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, Baggage Claim? How's everybody doing out there today? I just want to say thank you so much for joining us, for taking time out of your schedule to listen to us. Baggage Claim is a place where we're hoping to create some community and some conversations around marriage, relationships, friendships, blended families, all those good things that are out there. If you're new to us, thank you for joining us. If you've been here before, you know the drill.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, take a deep breath. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
Grab your favorite drink, whatever that may be, and pull up to the table for us because we're jumping into part 2 of Collateral Beauty. The first part one, we talked about the collateral damage. Now we're talking about
after a loss.
Loss or grief or something that's happened. Now we're jumping into the beautiful part that comes about as a result sometimes of that loss or that grief or wherever it is that you're walking through. So if you haven't heard part 1,
You really
pause.
should before you listen to this.
Hit pause and go back. Listen to that one because this one will make a lot more sense if you have listened to that one. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into part 2.
Well, the phrase
Collateral Beauty
is not something that we made up.
No. It's from a movie.
Yeah.
That's why
it's literally called.
Sounds good though.
Yeah, it's literally called Collateral Beauty. But gosh, if you watch it, you'll get it.
It's a Will Smith movie. Go check it out. You can rent it on Prime for like $3.99. If you listen to these episodes, go watch the movie. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
So collateral beauty comes after a loss of some sort. But what collateral beauty is not, it's not a reward for suffering. It's something that grows alongside with your pain.
There's this. Can I share the part of the movie that kind of sets this up for us?
Yes.
I shared it in part 1, but it's like there's a lady, two ladies sitting in the hospital, and one of the ladies looks over because the lady's crying, and she said, "Are you about to lose someone?" And she goes, "Yes." And the lady uses a phrase. She says, "Don't forget to see the collateral beauty." And it's such a powerful phrase that as she's walking through this horrible situation, that she's encouraging her to make sure you see the beauty.
And collateral beauty can show up in unexpected moments of clarity, moments of connection or compassion or strength. And those moments don't erase your pain, but they help you carry it.
Yeah, and clarity, I mean, those moments of clarity can look like a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, this is not a cookie cutter, 1, 2, 3, do this, do that, don't do this.
No.
This is it's kind of a very, very rough outline of what it looks like in walking through that. And
it's a way of processing, too, I think. Walking through an experience that you didn't ask for.
Like, what would be a moment of clarity for you that you got through that? Do you remember a moment of clarity?
Not.
I'll share one.
Know. Yeah, share yours.
I'll share one. I was I've shared some of this, but I became a Christian when I was 21 years old. My life was a train wreck. My relationship with God had been growing and growing and growing, and I would always said these phrases: God will never leave you; He will never forsake you. He's always there, no matter how far. You can't run away from Him. Once you know He's a part of your life, you're part of His. That's sold. That's just done. Walking through all of this, the loss, I was pissed at God, like mad. I didn't talk to Him. I didn't listen to music. I wasn't going to church. I wasn't giving. I wasn't doing any of the things the church tells you to do. I was just mad. But I told God how mad I was every single day at Him. And then I remember one night I've shared the story. I was laying on my bathroom floor, and I was just mad, and I was still. And it's weird because it's only several times this happened in my life, but I hear this very, very clear voice saying, "Are you done?" And I was just like, "Okay, is there somebody in here with me? Because this is weird." And I remember sitting up, and He said, "Are you done?" And I just sat there, and it says, "Get up." And so I got up and I felt this amazing presence of God in my life and in that bathroom that it's hard for me to put into words that can explain. And he says, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And it was that moment of clarity for me that changed all of that for me.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those that he loves me for who I am, not what I look like, not what I do, not how much money I give, not how much I read, not how much I tell other, but he just loves me for me.
Yeah.
And that was my moment of clarity that changed a lot for me. And I was in the bathroom floor bitching like mad when that happened. Like it wasn't like I did this formula to make these things happen. I was just ticked. And that was the rawness of who I was. But that was a moment of clarity that made me just not look at that relationship different, but it made me start to look at other relationships in my life different too.
So here's some things that collateral beauty is not.
Okay.
It's not saying, well, at least I don't have it as bad as so-and-so. Well, at least I still have this.
We always say here at Baggage Claim, and I'll beat this drum till the day we die. Comparison game is always losing. When you compare your marriage, your relationship, your friendship to someone else's marriage relationship, you're going to lose every time.
And that's not what collateral beauty is. It's also not trying to find a quote unquote silver lining, and it's also not a justification for your loss. That's not what it is. But here's some things that collateral beauty.
Were you going to say something?
Oh no, I was just going to talk into the comparison thing as well, like how damaging it can be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw producer Michael grab the mic, and I was like, "Oh, something's going down."
Great minds think alike.
Yeah,
I've heard them say.
But some things that collateral beauty is beauty that shows up quietly. It is meaning that emerges slowly, and it is grace that sticks around even when it wasn't invited. And that was something that we talked a lot about beforehand of that statement.
Wow.
Yeah, that grace that wasn't invited, but it stays.
Yeah, we did. We talked about, we debated that
Yeah.
statement. Debated would probably be better. We're like, what does that mean? How do we like in that statement? How does that how does that work out? Because we're always trying to unpack these things too in our lives and be like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And I think for me, in essence, it meant I'm in the middle of something that I didn't ask to be in, but I'm in it. And now I'm here.
Yeah.
And grace has showed up, and it's just going to hang out.
Well, that's not to mean this very heavy statement, but for me, a way that grace showed up that I did not invite was choosing to forgive the person that killed him. That was not grace that I invited upon myself, but it was there and it stuck around, and God allowed me to use that.
Well, the grace to forgive. We talked about that in your forgiveness story, which is powerful. If you guys haven't heard that, go check it out. It's Jessica's story. It's but at the same time, yeah, you're right.
It could be grace that's given to you. It could be grace that you experience your own self. It can show up in lots of different ways, but typically when you're in a loss that feels like a disaster, grace is not something that you're going to find on your own sometimes. Sometimes it sticks around.
Yeah.
And shows up.
And one thing that I find so beautiful about that grace is many times, yes, it sticks around, but it carries you through.
Oh yeah.
But also it's on the forefront of your own perspective and vision, that when you see others
through that,
that are walking through that same thing, you have that torch carrying of grace that carried you through, that you get to ignite within someone else. That carries them through.
Yeah.
And I find that incredibly beautiful. Like one time, and I know I shared this with you guys know, but I was walking through divorce and I was like, I'm in the middle of a storm and I can't see the other side. And to be honest, I have no idea what that looks like. I can't see anything good on the other side. And it was months, a month or two after my divorce, and here I'm just caught in this storm, and I'm like, I'm trying to push through. I'm trying to see through. God, let me see a light at the end of the tunnel. I can't see life on the other side of this. And I just remember I ran into someone at work, and I kind of shared what I was going through because he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "That's crazy, Michael. Same thing happened in my first marriage." And like, this is a man I had known for a couple of years and did a lot of ministry together with. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And here he is now, you know, in his 60s, has kids in college, all this. And then the next week, a buddy of mine asked me out to lunch. I had known him for 5 or 6 years at this point. And he asked me how I was doing. And sometimes I just can't hold my emotions back. I wear my heart on my sleeve so often. And I was like, it sucks. And I just, boom, shared my life story, what I was going through. And he said the same thing. Michael, that's awful. I'm sorry to hear you going through that. But the same thing happened in my first marriage. Again, older man, got kids in high school, graduating high school, family's great. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and that happened multiple times to me.
Right.
And that was that grace that carried me through. Okay, there is something on the other side of the storm.
Yeah.
I can't see it, but I can see that others have lived it.
Yeah.
And I can see that it's possible. And then the craziest thing, and this is what I think is so important about this grace, because if we take that grace and we just hold on to it, we're not being conduits of that grace.
Yeah. We're
just a bucket that holds it, and that's it.
Yeah.
But then there's this guy that walked up to me in church after one Sunday, and I don't know if I've ever shared this with you guys. And he said he didn't know me. And he just noticed that I was a worship pastor on staff. So he came and talked to me. He said, man, my wife's leaving me. He said, I got kids. I'm walking through all of this. And it was just, oh my gosh, it just filled me with such joy to see that grace that God had shown me. And I was able to pour that into him as well.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think that's incredible because we can use that grace, yes, on our own self, but don't forget to extend that grace to others.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And that's part of what collateral beauty can teach you. Because the pain teaches you something without permission. Like the pain, it just happens to you.
Like
It's
the
not-
things you just talked about taught you something through that pain that you in hand turn around. Some men shared it because they walked through that pain with you, and then you got to turn around and share that with someone who's walking through. So it's just crazy how that works.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it also helps you notice things that you didn't notice before. Like you can have a deeper empathy for other people's pain, like you just said.
I do that, man. Now I look at I look at marriage, I look at families, I look at it different.
Yeah.
You can't help but.
No. It also can give you a great appreciation for small things, small moments that you might have breezed over before. But little things become big things.
Yeah.
In a good way, not in a bad way.
Yes, not in that. Like for you, we've always said a phone call changed everything.
Everything.
You don't know when your last goodbye is your last goodbye. Like
me and Miranda were talking about that today.
And so when you say those things or someone leaves, sometimes you have a better appreciation for, like, I know this is crazy, but I grew up across the street from my Aunt Jerry and Sandy, and I harassed them a large part of my life.
Yeah.
Like harassed would
Uncle
probably be-
Jerry and Aunt Sandy.
Yeah, love them to death. And I mean, she was just diagnosed with cancer just a couple weeks ago. But I'll tell you this, when I hugged her this past Sunday when we were getting together for Christmas, it was different.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Like when you hug her, you tell her you love her, and you look into her face, it's different.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. It makes you appreciate all those little moments.
It gives you a clear sense of what actually matters.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. So talking about mortality, basically, how you just brought that up with your aunt, that pain and that collateral beauty, it really does help you kind of reframe what urgency feels like.
Yeah.
And what you decide to be urgent about.
Yeah.
And I mean, it could be like that urgency. I feel an urgency to hug you every time I see you, or just to tell you thank you when you help me with things, or like it kind of reframes that.
Yeah, you went on and on and on about how much I helped you take down Christmas
I
decorations.
did.
It was like, what was I going to do? Sit on the couch and watch you? Like,
I was so thankful.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. Collateral beauty also helps you to make sure that you don't postpone making connections with people too,
Yeah.
and making connections that matter. And really, it's just making sure that the people in your life know that they matter to you.
I think if you allow it, you can see the beauty in each friendship or relationship
Mhm.
that you have, whatever that looks like, whatever it is, and you appreciate that in a different level.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you lose that,
Yeah.
like I was telling a guy, we were having a conversation about business and building business, and I was talking about. I asked him, I was like, "What are you searching? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you building this business?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do?" And he was telling me these answers and over and over and over, and I was like, I used to chase some of those things. And I was like, but you know what's crazy? Is that one day I was chasing those, and then 1 month later,
Yeah.
I'm sitting in my house by myself, don't have my kids, don't have my wife, I'm losing my companies and everything. And I was like, what really matters then? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you really chasing? Not to be that morbid guy that's like, what was me?
Right.
But at the same time, says everything can change just
Yeah.
like that, really, really quick. So
Yeah.
know what you're after.
Yeah. And you develop less of a tolerance for what drains your life.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
you're talking about what really matters, you figure out what doesn't matter.
Well, when you have those moments of clarity, like we talked
Mhm.
about later, whatever those clarity moments look like, and you get focused.
Yeah.
And a lot of other stuff, you're like, yeah, I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want that.
No. And when you experience grief like this, it teaches you what the cost of waiting. I mean, waiting around and waiting to make changes or waiting to make connections, it costs you.
Yeah.
And collateral beauty can show you that, and it can help you.
But it always costs you. We talk about, I think we did an episode, I think it was just called Time or
Yeah.
Clock or something.
Something.
We talked about the value of time
Yeah.
and how important it is, but we just throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
We just treat it like it's not that important. This is the most valuable thing that we have.
Yeah.
And it's like even in the relation, not just in life, but just in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing you can't reproduce.
You can't. There's beauty in the rebuilding though after the loss and the grief, and when you figure out what your collateral damage is for all that, but then you start looking for the beauty. There's beauty in the rebuilding too, though. That's part of this whole idea of collateral beauty. There's beauty in learning to trust again.
Yeah.
As hard as that is, there's
Yeah.
beauty in that.
Yeah.
There's beauty in learning how to ask for help.
1000%.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, if I can share, and this is just kind of on that same concept of the rebuilding. There was a podcast I was listening to by Kerry Newhoff, and I forget the guest that he had on, but he was talking about how do you know who to pour into. You have so many people around you, and he compared hearts of people, of human hearts, to ground and soil. If you just go out and throw seeds on ground that hasn't been touched, prepped, broken, anything like that, it doesn't yield much fruit. But when you have ground that is broken, soil has been dug up in the same way that our hearts do when we go through grieving, brokenness, hardships. That ground becomes very fertile. But that ground doesn't grow unless you plant.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you are listening to this podcast and you're going through hardship, and it's not to say to ignore the hardship or to just gloss over it and just straight to rebuilding, but also at the same time realize that the seeds that you plant in your heart and your mind and your life right now, 5 years from now could be tenfold.
Right.
Simply because of the condition of your heart.
Yeah.
So I say that, one, to be intentional with the seeds that you plant in your heart, but also to be careful of what seeds you plant in your heart.
Yeah.
In this time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah. There's also beauty, and you mentioned this too, of learning the difference between being alone and being lonely.
Yes.
Like you found a strength in being alone.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Growing up, I guess in the home I grew up with, it was kind of crazy. I was always, man, I don't know. I mean, I just remember this one time when we were hiding in the woods because my dad was. It's just, I don't want to get into details, but it wasn't great. Um, there were lots of times where I was just afraid. I never wanted to be by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't want to be, and I know there was a lot of weight that carried with that with other things. And so for me in my life, that was something I didn't want and I didn't ask for and I wasn't looking for
Mm-hmm.
it. But all of a sudden I found myself in a place where I'm at home by myself,
Yeah.
alone. And I'm like, okay. But in the silence, it was so freaking loud in my
Yeah.
life in the quietness. And when I say that, people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, get somewhere quiet for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't have the option of just going into another room and it being quiet. Every room I went
Everything.
in my
Yeah.
house was quiet.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went was quiet. And so I was forced to wrestle those thoughts, those ideas, and wrestle them to the ground
Mm-hmm.
and deal with those things. And what's crazy is I I, I became a strength of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had this platform on a zip line canopy tour that set out on the end of the point on this lake. And I used to go out there at the end of the day when everything was on. And I would listen to this song, and it's an older song because
Mm-hmm.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
But it's a Mumford and Mumford and Sons. It's from and he used to talk about. It says one day that the love won't bring tears. It'll bring
Mm-hmm.
happiness. The sorrow will end. The battle will be over.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I used to sit on that platform, man, and I would just weep and
Yeah.
just sat there. And I was like, I can't wait for that day
Yeah.
to where I see that. And then, but the thing is it wasn't the next day. It wasn't the next week. It wasn't it
No.
it was months and years down the road that I'm like, yeah, there's that pain brought about
Mm-hmm.
some joy and it brought about love and it brought about some other things that just had to keep going.
Yeah.
So
And one thing I learned too, that joy and sadness can coexist at the same time.
yeah, which is crazy. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of an interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got an example of that?
Well, just
It's like
my kids were so little, and so I would work on creating opportunities for them to feel joyful and make sure that they still have, happy childhood memories. And I allowed myself to feel that joy too, even though I was incredibly sad. So it's just finding joy in just the little things, like painting on the back porch or whatever the case may be. I learned that those two emotions can be at the same time.
Yeah. And sometimes we find ourselves in those situations, and that's what we talk about with this collateral beauty part. Like we find
Mhm.
ourselves in these situations sometimes unintentionally.
Yeah.
Like it just happens. Like you were sharing a story. Do you want to share the story about your lawnmower story?
Yeah.
Can you share?
Yeah,
Do you
no,
want to share
absolutely. So this is probably maybe 6 months after my divorce. Everything was finalized and just going through it, honestly, finding it hard to do the everyday life things. One of those things was mowing my lawn.
Yeah.
I've got 2 acres, beautiful out here in Georgia country, on the backside of a cow farms. Like it's great. I love it. It's beautiful. But my transmission on my lawnmower went out.
Yep.
Pissed me off. So here I am. Now I got to spend extra money to get another lawnmower. So I bought another used one. New to me, but used on Facebook, had a leaky carburetor, so had a gas valve, shut off valve before the gas line, in the gas line to be able to keep gas from leaking and overflowing the carburetor. So here I'm going out. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna grab me a couple drinks, grab a cigar, and I'm gonna make the best of this because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do
Yeah.
it, and I didn't have the money to hire someone to do it. Barely had enough to just get my own lawnmower so that I could do it for the rest of the season. So out there mowing the lawn, doing my thing, great cigar, great drink, just chilling. And my nephew calls. And probably, I remember it was over fantasy football because I'm pretty sure he was demolishing me and he wanted to rub it in my face. And I was like, in my mind, like this is my mind, I remember being, okay, Michael, I know you're having a heck of a day. Just take it. Love him. He's your nephew.
Mhm.
He's 10 years old.
Yeah.
And he's kicking my butt in fantasy football.
Right.
So I did. And I just sat there and we talked for like maybe 10, 12 minutes on the phone and, good time, talked in the conversation. Well, I went to crank back up my lawnmower. And mind you, I bought this the day before.
Right.
Wouldn't crank.
Yeah.
Wouldn't crank. Then I tried and tried. And honestly, I'm just getting pissed that I just spent all this money, like $450 on a used riding lawnmower. And I'm just like pissed. So I'm at the bottom of my hill at the house. I don't want to walk 200 yards up to push the lawnmower up. And I'm like, I am not dealing with this today. I'm done.
Right.
So I just sat on my lawnmower, drank the rest of my drink, smoked the rest of the cigar, and was like, I'm going to get something out of this because I'm done.
Right.
And I did. I just listened to music, which I had to force myself to do because this was in that season that I didn't want to do anything with that. So just kind of one of those things where I'm like, nope, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it regardless. That's it. So I did. And I sat down and probably for like an hour. Sunset, it's dark, bright moon out. It was actually, I say this, it was beautiful. Like it was dark as can be, but the sky was like a bright blue. You could see the dark shadows of the trees against the skylight. And I just remember sitting back and this song came on my iPad that was playing my iPhone. And it was Beauty by David Funk. Just talking about, oh, you're beautiful, God, everything you've done, everything you do. And I just remember getting mad at God while worshiping.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, why? Why have you let this happen?
Yeah.
I was doing everything that I could think of to do that was right. And all of this still came falling apart. My life has completely fallen apart over the past 6 months to a year. And I was like, why did you allow this to happen? And I remember very still, because not just the weekend before I was going through something. And I remember God spoke to me in that moment. He said, I didn't promise it would be easy. I promised I would be with you. And that just kept coming to my heart. Man, like, dude, I just started crying.
Yeah.
Sitting on a lawnmower, smoking a cigar. At the bottom, my neighbors were probably like, what is this guy doing?
This guy's having a breakdown.
Sitting on his lawnmower, crying for like an hour. That was not a beautiful sight.
Right.
But I just remember in that moment, I was going through such frustration. And God brought such a peace to my heart.
Yeah.
Absolute peace. And I just remember, like, I still, tears were running down my eyes, and I just started chuckling. I was laughing. I was like, thank you, God. Like, I've needed that peace in my heart. And I was like, all right, it's time to go inside. And in my mind, I was like, I am not pushing this lawnmower up. I'm going to walk up, and if I got to get my car and tow this thing up there, that's what I'm going to do. So I was like, all right, I'll give it one more shot. I'll try to crank it again. I try to crank, it doesn't crank. And I'm like, oh, I opened the hood. When I was on the phone with my nephew, I turned off the gas line. So this whole time, it wasn't even an issue with the lawnmower.
Yeah.
So I turned the gas line back up, cranked it up, drove it up to my house.
Wow.
So it was just completely unexpected.
But you would have missed that moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, that and one or two other moments that are very, very similar to that exact same circumstance that completely changed. I don't think those are moments I will ever forget in my life.
Right.
Ever.
Wow.
As old as I may get, they made such a life-changing, heart-changing impact on my life that changed me.
Those are moments of clarity.
Yeah.
Wow.
And something that came to mind when you were talking just then, as I moved through my journey of finding collateral beauty, although I didn't know that's what I was doing at that time, there's a verse in the Bible that says he brings beauty from ashes, strength from fear, gladness from mourning, and peace from despair. And that was something I really hung on to, and still do. Like that beauty from ashes is literally tattooed on my arm. But that's part of looking for the collateral beauty.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
You just have to want to see it some of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the hard part.
It is. So let's unpack.
Okay. Let's jump in.
Just jump right into it. One thing that all of our little stories that we've shared, in the moment, it's hard to notice. But if you think back through some of these experiences, I bet you could probably pinpoint some times where you could ask yourself, what didn't hurt as much today as it did yesterday or last week?
Wow.
As you're peeling back layers, thinking through each of our journeys.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's important, like, being able to acknowledge the victories that you find because it helps you build that self-confidence. It helps you build the ground you're standing on. And that's significant, especially when you feel like the ground you're standing on is weak and shaky. And so being able to do that is tremendous.
Yeah.
Seeing, and I know we've talked about this in the last episode, part 1, where we talked about finalizing your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big thing for me because every small victory gave me more confidence that next time the mental battles started growing again. And again, that victory led to more confidence in the next one. And then that victory led more confidence. Like, talking about trying to fight mental battles, like, that was significant for me, being able to acknowledge those.
Yeah.
It's not a natural thing to ask yourself daily, well, what didn't hurt as much today as it did?
Yeah.
But it is a thought to hang on to, or even ask yourself, what surprised me in a good way?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember when I noticed that I was making progress, I was like, I didn't cry today.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I did it.
Well, and for me, it wasn't ask yourself this daily or ask yourself this every once in a while.
Yeah.
But it was when that moment comes, and it sounds weird to say it like this, when that moment of enlightenment comes,
Right.
when you see that, acknowledge that and hold on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah, I was just thinking through one. I do remember feeling proud of myself more than once, but this one specific time because every night for months, either my grandmother spent the night with me or my dad, because I was afraid to be alone. And I remember the first time when my dad was getting off work and he was like, Jesse, what time do you need me to be at the house? I was like, you know what, Daddy, you don't have to come tonight. And he burst into tears on the phone too of just pride. I was like, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. And he said, I'll have my cell phone right by the bed. Just call me. But I did it.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I didn't notice, like I said, didn't notice those things while I was walking through it. But if you're walking through this and you just take time to notice things,
Yeah.
ask yourself, okay, what did I do today that I can feel proud of?
Yeah.
Because that's not always something that you can find in the moment.
That's true. That's very true.
I think it's also important that you give yourself permission to feel joy and to feel proud of yourself. Because whether you ask for it or not, like if it's divorce or death or whatever, it's a loss. And it's okay to move forward. It's okay to process those feelings.
Yeah.
Just because you feel joy in a moment doesn't mean you're betraying the loss or you're, discounting the loss that you've experienced. Like, it's okay. Give yourself permission to feel that.
Yeah, that's hard. That was hard for me. Like, I think there was just a lot of guilt, shame, all those other things that come with that. And I had plenty of people to help keep that on top of my head.
Right.
Continually.
Right.
And so it's just hard. It was hard to let go of that and actually feel that joy.
Yeah.
So it's funny though, but then I remember back, there's some dear friends of ours, Scott and Jen Cagle, love them to death. She texted us, this is a weird text. This is our group text of couples. She goes, where we at? Or where are we at? Or something. And I was like,
where are we? With
she
three
said,
question
where are
marks.
we? And I was like, the first thing I thought of was like, crap, did we forget
Are we supposed to be somewhere?
Yeah, I was like, we're supposed to be somewhere.
Yeah. I immediately checked my calendar. I was like, where are we? Where are you? I don't know.
And so she said, I don't know. Where are you? And she goes, we're at Indian Pass. And as soon as she said that, I just started smiling. And I was like, I remember that's the place I still remember the weird band because we bought a T-shirt of the band that was playing. We even bought their CD. They had a CD. That tells you how old it was. It's back. It was back a while.
They had merch.
Yeah, they had merch, and we bought it. But it was like this old gas station They had amazing food. But this band was just literally playing in the parking
In the
lot.
parking lot.
And we were standing under there, and that was the first time we danced together. I look back because you forget those moments.
Yeah.
You forget all the other things. And then when she just texted it, I brought all that back. And I just remembered, I was like, that was a moment of joy.
Yeah.
Where we shared there, and it was just fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. So we hit the joy part there.
We did.
But anyway.
Yeah. And
not to get sentimental or emotional.
Well, even you bringing up that trip, that was a trip that you went on with your friends, and then I started going with you as well. It was a week every summer with the whole friend group.
So fun.
But having that connection though is a really big deal. And that's part of collateral beauty also, is making sure that you still do things. You still find joy in doing things. You still find joy in relationships and making connections with people.
Because even on that trip, Damon Santamaro drug me on that trip the first time. And he basically told everybody, hey, give Greg some grace. And they gave me a lot of grace, and I needed a lot of it.
They took care of you.
Yeah, they would just. Sometimes I would just sleep on the beach, and they would come out and get me.
Just be like, "Hey, bro, you okay?
You want to come inside?"
They'd be like, "You want to go inside?" Like I would just. But they loved me. Those people, no judgment, no shame. They just loved me and cared for me.
And you said yes to the invitation. That's also very important.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did, and so, but yeah.
Yeah, and something to remember is that you don't replace damage with beauty. Like the damage is still there.
Yeah.
But you can carry both of those things with you. They don't cancel each other out. So that's why that phrase collateral beauty.
I think that's probably the biggest crux or this hurdle people, they try to cancel one out.
Yeah, it's one or. It's either or.
All the time. And it's like, just stop. You save yourself so much. It's okay. It's okay not to. But we fight against it because for some reason we think it's bad.
Yeah. Why do we feel that though?
I don't know, but we do.
I've been that way. Like
I was certainly made to feel bad once I decided, like, I'm ready to move along with my life. And it didn't necessarily mean like, ooh, I'm looking for me a husband. It wasn't that. It was just like, no, I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready. Yeah. And I was made to feel bad about that.
Well, when I was going through counseling, one thing my counselor told me, and this changed a lot, and I feel like it brings this imagery of collateral beauty into perspective in such a way that I find incredible. I just remember, like, we're meeting for like an hour, and like 50 minutes gone through, and I just venting about all the crap I was going through. And I'm like, my work life sucks. My personal life sucks. Obviously, my relation life is obliterated. She's gone. Like, there's a cloud over everything. And I'm just living in the shadows. And I remember him saying, it's like you're walking through a desert. And I was like, yes. And there's no end in sight. And he kind of stopped for a minute, and it was like an awkward silence. It felt like an eternity, but it was probably like 30 seconds or a minute. I don't know. And he said, there's cactus in the desert. And if you take a minute to look, you'll find flowers blooming on that cactus. And you may have your face down in the sand. It's hot. You can't breathe. You're sweating. But you can realize there might be a scorpion that walks across too. And then at night, you'll see that the mice come out. And he's like, you are in the middle of a desert. But don't forget, life still exists in the desert.
Yeah.
And on this side of life and things we've talked through, it's like, okay, you're in the desert. You may have made yourself be in a desert. You may have been dropped in the middle of a desert unaware. You may have chosen it, may have not.
Yeah.
And yes, there's going to be some days that you're going to have to march. You're just going to have to put one foot in front of the other. But don't forget, there's still life to be found in that desert.
Yeah.
And so to me, it brought this beautiful tie of saying, yes, there's still sadness. Yes, there's still growing pains of, I got to get up and get out of bed. I got to put one foot in front of the other. I got to go mow the lawn. I got to go to work. I've got to pay the bills. I've still got to do all these things. But there is still life that can be found in the desert. And when we forget that moment, I feel like we lose so much of this concept of collateral beauty
Mm-hmm.
because we're never aware of it.
Yeah.
We don't even take time to look for it.
Yeah. I'd agree.
Yeah.
We get so overwhelmed with being in the desert that we don't get to appreciate things that we still have.
Wow. Powerful.
Yeah. And speaking of powerful, this statement, I wrote it down earlier today.
Is this what we're ending on?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because wow. I'm gonna read it twice. Okay. Healing isn't about closing the chapter. It's about learning how to read the rest of the story. That just makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
Healing isn't about closing the chapter. It's about learning how to read the rest of the story. Whoa.
With that being said,
Yeah.
thank you for taking the time to listen to Baggage Claim. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for making this. I mean, there's people out there who are listening.
Yeah.
In 18 different countries.
Thank you
around
for
the
being a
world.
part of our community.
Yeah. I hope you invite others to come into our community with us.
Yeah.
And let's enjoy the journey as we continue to dig in 2026.
Wow. Yeah.
Gosh.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's now.
Holy crap.
That's now.
Let's enjoy
We have
and
to
move
relearn
forward. Thank you guys so much. And as always, I would love to sign off with saying, go dogs.
Go dogs.